There I am. All right, I heard my voice, which means I don't need you guys to confirm. I know you can hear me. It looks like you can see me. Welcome to the desktop after a long weekend. Let some people file in here. All right, welcome to the new week of trading, Trade Ideas Live support. This is primarily a function of our support group for people who maybe need help with the product. So I still see people filing in. If you're one of those already and you need some support, you're first in line. Otherwise, I usually just start kind of talking about the market, and it's one that won't pull back. That's for sure. You can see my daily chart on the left and 15-minute on the right, and S&Ps and Qs just holding these all-time, kind of hovering here at all-time highs. Whereas the play could be the small caps, because this is the IWM, the Russell 2000, and it's just not able to get above this hump right here. But that means, what happens if it does get above that hump? Is it going to play catch up to the rest of the market? It very well could. The NASDAQ and the S&P, again, hovering at all-time highs, but these small caps, they just can't get out of their own way, respectively, because their all-time highs are back here. So you see what I'm getting at? There's all this void of complete sector dislocation from the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ tech. So I would say, and I'm going to be watching, I'm not going to say, I'm going to do, Andy and I were just discussing this morning. I wish I could draw in green on this thing. I can't. I can do blue. If I can just get one little close above that 50-day SMA in blue, that's all I need. One good shot across the bow where it doesn't get rejected. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see what I'm seeing. Every single time we get there in the Russell 2000, we get rejected. I mean, it's been clockwork. Therefore, the first nice green candle that pops up out of this range like that, that is the sign to say, I need to start looking at small cap stocks, because the current of the market will drive the small cap stocks. It doesn't matter which one you've been loving forever. Great story, but just nobody seems to want it. This is going to be that moment for those small caps that you've been really watching to shine, in my opinion. If we get just watch, this is your RQ, a closing green candle above this 50-day moving average will, I think, trigger a monumental rotation in the big money, as well as us, the retail, into a catch-up mode of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, which you can see just hovering here at highs. Nothing can bring this market down. We get a lot of these little downdrafts. They show up often, but they don't mean much, because it's just a healthy market breathing. It needs to pull back. Here's a downdraft. A downdraft there, a gap downdraft there, but they're all met with more buying. And philosophically, fundamentally speaking, I think the more we hear about this Doge and uncovering costs, fraud, waste, abuse, and more importantly, the word regulations, slashing regulations, has been thrown around. The stock market loves nothing more than to hear leadership say, we're going to slash regulation and untie capitalism and untie the private sector so they can move forward without being held back by bullshit government regulation. which is literally a muddy pit. We've been drowning in it. So my point is that is the fundamental backdrop, I think, for the bullishness of this market. So that being said, I think watch IWN. That's really, I think, where the small caps really could play some catch up. But again, we got to get that first close above the 50. And we're hovering at it right now. Now, Andy bought some TNA. I did that last week, and I probably might be wise doing it again in another account that I have, because I can't buy TNA in my main account, which is my retirement account. It's a 401k, just like everybody else has, except mine is a self-directed designated, and I'm in and out, constantly working that account. It's not an investment account. It's my main trading account, but it limits me to what I can and cannot play sometimes. TNA would be one of them. So TNA, as you see, is a bull, 3-time bull market of the small caps. And TZA is the opposite. If you want to be short the small caps, you go TZA. But I might nibble on some TNA in another account before the close as an anticipatory play. Again, if we look at the TNA chart, it's not giving us a good look. Look at this. It's totally different. Why is it different? Because it's 3 times a bull case, but to do a 3 times bull, triple levered ETF, you have to reset each day, and that's called decay. And decay always works in one direction, and that's down. So if we look at the IWM respectively, again, Friday and today, we got these little wicks in the happy land here, but no close yet. So if we get a nice close up in this area, I think the game could be on for small caps. But the point being is when we look at these charts, we have to make our decisions based on the underlying fundamental IWM, the 1-to-1 Russell ETF. You do not want to start marking up charts using TNA or SQQ or any other triple levered ETF, because what I was explaining there, the decay shows up in these levered ETFs. The price just has a slow decay down. It's the nature of the business. All right. Well, that's kind of my opening sermon on where we are in the market. The trade of the week is RR did not trigger. This is a robotics play. Also a small cap. You see my blue line there? That's 310. This is the trade of the week trigger. And I've made sure that I will not miss the trade of the week, because if the price comes back up, I'm guessing here it's just in no man's land. But if we get a big spike up and this thing breaks out and opens up on my screen as a price alert, I am probably going to participate. But I'm not going to guess. Right here is a guess. And I think that's where a lot of traders get themselves in trouble. Like, oh my God, I read a great article on RecTech robotics. Robotics is the future, man. If you're an investor, that's cool. But if you're somebody who's watching most of the ticks, you're guessing right here. And like I said, a lot of new traders will just get enamored in the story and the market potential, and they jump in without looking at the chart first. And so that's where I came up with the phrase, the chart has to confirm the story. And so when this blue line triggers, to me, that's a chart confirming a stock that I like. Until then, you just tie up capital and mental, energy and whatnot. All right, guys. Well, I see people are watching. A lot of lurkers because nobody's really asked any questions yet. So, the chat window's wide open. I'm happy to talk about the product, how to make a scan, or a lot of people like to throw charts at me, and I'm happy to look at a chart and give you the unvarnished truth. There's Girl Trader. All right. Is it possible to set scans and alerts using TradeWave and LightWeb? Not on the LightWeb version. Right now, the trade alerts using the TradeWave, and let me turn these on. We go to the FX here, TradeWave menu. Now I'm going to get the cloud and the B and the S tags. Here we go. It won't work from your phone, Girl Trade. I'll tell you straight up. This is it's still kind of an archaic product. I will admit that. We're working on building out the dashboard, as you see, but the dashboard on the web browser is still very limited. The web version, not to be confused with the dashboard, is a supposed mirror copy of the Trade Ideas Pro. And what I mean by that is, let me just show you. It's the Trade Ideas. We go. They might have refreshed that page. I got to reload it. All right, let me try new Trade Ideas. On the download page, you have access to, not to be confused, web access. The web access version, you log in. It's paid subscription. You log in, and you have most of what you see here. However, it doesn't have the TradeWave charts. I don't believe. And let's go ahead and just confirm that. So we log in. Now I've stolen the live data over here. It's green now in my browser. I've stolen it from my toolbar. My toolbar is going to conk out on me, and I'm going to have to go back. But in these charts, let me pop that chart out. This is the web version again. And I don't see any, there's point being, I just want to demonstrate, there's no ability to use the TradeWave. There's my red icon telling me I've lost my live data. So I've got to go to reset connection a couple times. And now we're good again. So TradeWave is only on the downloaded Windows version, Girl Trader. Do we have any scans for it? Well, we're going to have some more in the future, but for now we only have three basic generic scans. Excuse me. The real point of this is to kind of guide you in your personal trading. For instance, I am in MindMed. However, I've taken most of my profits. If I had been watching it, it would have said, hey, you might want to sell here. And it would have saved me a little bit of money on my final 0.25%. But I'm going to hold that 0.25% and probably reload on it down here on the daily. So again, the TradeWave is more of an indicator to kind of show you what your favorite charts are doing. However, we do have one new, we got to go to Market Explorer. We have one small menu of ideas that will show you things that have turned with a buy tag. So that's your part of your question. Is there a scan that we can set up? There's nothing we can set up yet. I will tease you that the money machine, and you can hit Dan up on this tomorrow. Please, by all means, come by tomorrow at this time and talk to the CEO, Dan, and say, Dan, how are you incorporating the TradeWave technology into triggering the money market buys and sells? All right, that's what's coming. Again, come by tomorrow for the CEO. You get direct access to him, and you can ask him anything you want and have him explain to you how they're working out using these buys and sells, start to all of a sudden work with that money machine that you all have been seeing marketed, of course. But back to our Market Explorer, we've only got a couple of options here. Select strategy, TradeWave. We could do, TradeWave buy 5 minute. So if I go back to a 5 minute chart here, this is the only scan we have, Girl Trader. And these are all going to show you things that have a recent B. There's a buy tag on a 5 minute chart. Gelled B, there's a buy tag. So it's not bad. It works. And to anybody else who didn't realize that, you can do that. Again, we just go to new Market Explorer window, and then you have to open up the menu. Select strategy. Our newest strategy at the bottom is the TradeWave. We've got daily TradeWave, buys and sells. We've got weekly buys and sells, and the 5 minute. That's what I'm demonstrating here currently. All right, I hope that helps. I'm going to go back to my 15 minute. I might even keep TradeWave on there. Why not? All right, sale is up 5% today. Let's take a look at that chart, Truth Seeker. Okay, so it's a new issue. TradeWave is giving us a buy signal on the 15-minute chart. Again, if you're a new trader, I would highly recommend this. I mean, I'm an old geezer dinosaur and I kind of know what I want to see. But when I pull these up, I kind of know what they're going to do already. It just kind of confirms what I already know. But for the new trader, it really helps to go, okay, the technology says it's probably a safe entry right here at this level. So what do? We ride that until we get the change in color. So we do not have a change in color. I imagine if we get something like this, you'll see a S and a change in color pop in there pretty quickly. The daily doesn't give us much to work with, Truth Seeker, so all we've really got is this little stretch right here. 1, 2, 3 days is just not enough on the daily for me to identify anything of interest. All right. Let's talk about this. Yeah, why not? Because this is what I'm doing. Patrick, are you here? Silver on Friday was extremely disgusting and disappointing. I carried it home, did not sell. I finally got out for about a flat. I said, this 3-day weekend is looming. I'm just going to get out of the exposure. I'm extremely, extremely bullish gold and silver right now. The chart tells me GLD on the daily is just ripping. Silver, as usual, has always been kind of a laggard. So let me offer this. I mean, some of you have seen this headline, maybe some of you haven't. The Doge storm is just, kicking down doors left and right of 3-letter agencies and government bureaucracies. They're talking about the Fed. And now, in the last 24 hours, we've got kind of a pitchfork and torch mentality of the villagers saying, audit Fort Knox. Audit Fort Knox. We don't trust anything anymore. And Elon Musk actually said, hey, maybe we should go in with a live camera and see what we find, like Geraldo Rivera. Wouldn't that be interesting if we open up Fort Knox on social media and there ain't no gold in there? What's going to happen? So that's a giant rabbit hole I've gone down. However, as I said earlier, the chart confirms the story. There's some weird volatility and interest in gold and silver right now. So I plunged, and I mean like 40% of my 401k into PSLV. Why PSLV? Because PSLV is Sprott physical silver, the key being physical silver. This is the story right here. What happens if Fort Knox has no physical? Then what? Does the SLV ETF, iShares Silver, does iShares Silver have physical? We don't know. They've been audited. Yeah, you're right, Pepe. So GLD and SLV are magic pieces of paper sometimes that the banks can have fun with, but not PSLV. Sprott Physical Silver and yes, physical, another key word. Sprott Physical Gold. These are probably a couple of names you guys should, just for curiosity, keep an eye on as these headlines continue to come out about Fort Knox. So my spider sense has told me to plunge, and again, that's about probably a 40% position into the physical, because this is the story. The Sprott Physical has always been, that's their selling point. We're audited. People have seen it. It's audited, it's certified. You cannot say that for SLV and GLD. So can we get the blue buy box on TI Basic? Yes, you can, Truth Seeker. We want people to use TradeWave. So TradeWave is available on any paid version. Pause. I like Pause. I was one of the stocks I was in last week. So there's some weird ones. AG is underwater. This one's having a hard time. I don't know why. CDE was having a good day, and then it just got hammered again. So there's some winners and losers. SSRM is a winner. Okay, so we got to start culling through the ones that look good. Andy gave me one. Which one was it? It was, hold on. think it's ORLA. ORLA. Yep. But I don't know exactly much about this one. So back to pause. Pan Am. It's not bad. It's not doing what those others are doing. Oh, by the way, I did buy some FSM, and I'm probably crazy. I'm a little underwater, but I'm looking at this giant jam down, and I bought some down here, right above this area, about 475-ish. And I don't mind it banging around down here. This to me is a safe entry, much more safe than buying that breakout. So again, if this whole silver thing comes to play that I've been talking about, I kind of want to be in some exposure to that. So pause looks good. It's not pulling back like CDE. It's not pulling back like FSM is violently. So in terms of relative strength amongst its peers, it's actually holding on to a current buy tag on the 15-minute. It doesn't look bad. And what would be even better is if it holds, yesterday's low and just kind of pops back above our key moving average. To me, a strong daily chart is how does the 10 SMA line up? And so coming into today, Pan Am has been very strong. It'd just be nice to see a little bit more of a kick into the close. I also bought some HYMC. I absolutely crushed this one last week. This was the genesis of me kind of starting the silver play all over again. This is a obscure miner, but they're kind of tied to the AMC GME Reddit group. There's AMC owns a portion of it, so there's always that component to it, but it was never in favor. But like I said earlier, if the IWM has a day like this, all days that follow are probably going to be good. So I looked at this day, I got in early and added to it, and I kept it. And I held this one. I played it pretty well. I sold some at the 200 day, and then I sold out up here. And I've been waiting in the back of my mind for the jump rope to come back around. So I picked some up. So that's my silver exposure, you guys. Honestly, it's all fresh from today. PSLV, Sprott Physical. FSM, I'm buying an extremely oversold bounce using the 50-day moving average to lean on here. And then lastly, my favorite little small cap, goofy silver miner, HYMC, which just, see that? Maybe I should have this on a little bit more. It just gave me a buy tag, but I can kind of see that. I don't think I have much else. I'm really heavy into silver. Oh, I think I told you earlier I've got 1/4 mine med left, and I'm probably looking to reload tomorrow into some more down at the 10 SMA, just like I talked about. Look at how it reacted the last time it came to the 10 SMA. So we use that. Get one more day. This will be tomorrow. Maybe I'll reload right here. And that's all. Oh, I have Kodak. We've had Kodak forever. I'm still in the money on this. Again, it's a story stock. Domestic manufacturing. Might see some headlines here soon about Kodak getting maybe some Trump administration big contracts to make simple things like penicillin, antibiotics, chlorine, who knows. Things that we got caught relying on during COVID that we didn't manufacture domestically, and those countries that manufactured it said, "Oh, well, we'll take care of our citizens first before we ship it over to you guys." So that's the story. It's just for me to stay interested in this stock, it has to stay above the 50-day moving average. That's all I need to see. All right. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I think we're caught up there in the chat window. Volatility is definitely coming into these things. The giant red spike on Friday, back again over the weekend. Again, if you came late, Dan will be here tomorrow, the CEO. And if you got money machine questions, specifically ask him how they're developing the trade waves that we've been talking about here, the buys and sells, into using those into the logic of the money machine that you've probably seen so much about marketed. Just for fun, let's look over here on my green tree map. These are sorted. Perfect timing. On the tree map, how did you get it to display just the top 6 to 8 stocks? I don't get it to display the top 6 or 8. You might be referring to the one in red over here. So see, if I turn the tree map off, this last 30-second refresh only has 2. So when you wrote that question, it might have had 4 or 6 in there. That's what determines it. And this one, of course, is looking for stocks that are pulling back and touching their 10 SMA, just like I was talking to you guys about. So like I was waiting for MindMed to do and other things. I'm waiting for them to pull back on a strong trending stock, pull back and tag that 10 SMA. And this is the alert that gives me that. And just so the newer people can see, this is the key component right here. The filter is called change from the 10 SMA. And so I'm bracketing 1/4% below, 1/4% above. It gives me kind of a window. However, the price has to be up 4% in the last 10 days. And it has to be down today. So it's a down day coming into a level that I want to see, which is this area in relation to the 10-day simple moving average. See, it just switched on us again there. Walmart. Look at that's exactly what I'm scanning for you guys. And that's the power of trade ideas. Strong stock, pulling back, kissing the 10 SMA. You're not going to get that at TrendSpider. You're not going to get that at FinViz. You'd be sitting there clicking refresh all the time. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. The one over here is based on who's up the most out of my list of shorts that are squeezing. Anything on this list will have a short float of more than 20%. All right. If I religiously follow the AI generated ideas, what's the average profit? I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's too hard. But what I can show you is this. You can do your own research on that by opening the TI and then going to history. History all, and your question is related to history all. Avoid signals in the money. You're just going to get the cream of the crops, and that's for people who only want to see the cream of the crop. But if you want to see every single trade in the last 3 months, there's your right there, last 60 days. And you can sort. I think you could even copy and paste and scrape that data if you want. But it's subjective. Everybody has different prices. There's no target. Everybody takes prices to profits at a different target price. And there's no quick start. I hate to tell you that much, but these daily support sessions are a good foundation, to build on. But what these are giving you are just, mere ideas. And if I go again, we have the same filter in the daily. So if I turn off any profitable, you see, okay, well, there's some noise in there. But one of the reasons we do any profitable is, hey, you ever heard of ALLO or RPID? Well, the AI is telling you that these trades are in play today. Now, maybe you missed, an early call in this, but you can watch for pullbacks. We have a pullback here, and it could be setting up again where it goes into the close and just rips higher. The AI is identifying strong volume. It's identifying something big is happening. And so it's essentially creating a daily watch list for you. It's putting these names in front of you. You can try to take them as literal as possible, but it's hard. There's too much slippage and there's too much, relative change. Okay, this is another interesting play. I'm gonna suggest, obviously, if you're new, Naya, without a doubt, this FX trade wave menu is extremely important for newer traders because it's going to give you kind of the confidence that you want to say that you should be still in this trade and not get out. And you are in a good trade because there is a buy tag in there. Yeah, Naya, that would be to come in here every day. Come in here every day and listen and absorb, what the traders, because everybody here that's doing these 12 o'clock sessions, we're not employee. I mean, we're employees, which is a great job, but we're employees by nature of the fact that we're traders, and we've been traders very long time, decades in my case. So it's the perfect job for me to help people. So you're going to get a lot of experience in here. You're not going to get people who are trying to sell you a subscription and show you how great they are. I'll show you all my bad losing trades too, because you lose from those. So you're going to get real honest, content in here every day at 12 o'clock. Again, on Wednesdays, the CEO, Dan, comes in. He spends more time on what's coming, the future, the concepts, the reasons we do things the way we do. But, myself and Andy, of course, and this is just an extension. I neglected Barry. This is just an extension of the daily trading room, which, of course, if you haven't seen, you must get to. At the bottom, the easiest way to get there, just go to the footer. And we've got a thing called Trading Room, and you can use your login credentials to join Barry every day. Barry is a day trader, and so he's going to be more fast-paced, where we slow things down and kind of come in the middle of the day and answer questions as much as we can and demonstrate what we like to do. Boy, that mind med is really hammering my P&L today, but I knew it would. It's really coming in hard. Another thing, Naya, is you have to develop what's your favorite time frame. Barry's going to be faster paced than I am. I can slow down and take a walk and answer emails. I don't watch level 2, but I've got a couple of indicators that I like, and this is one of them. It's pulling back down. It got ahead of itself. This is a very strong, solid level for me. I'm actually out of money today because I spent too much money on silver, but if I had any more, I'd be buying right here. I'd probably be loading back up, because this 5-day moving average is a very solid moving average. Let me do this for you, Naya. Let me even give you, if you like my style of 15-minute trading, I'm going to give you the exact copy of my chart, my 15-minute chart here. And then that way you don't have to set up any of the indicators like I have. It's all set for you. And again, you have the trade wave, and then you have this 5-day moving average, which will probably find buyers right here. So that helps you if you're in any stock. You're probably going to have some support and some help right here. Whereas here, it's up in this area, it's kind of more no man's land. Okay, so I've got the code. I'll show you how to open the code. You can just click on that link. It'll open up a browser. And that browser will look something like this. It's just the name of the last chart that I had. This is the actual code up here. So what you do is the old highlight all of it and copy that URL. Yeah, anybody can click on this link and do exactly what I'm doing right now, Hiroshima. So you click on that link. The easiest way to do it, you can do it this way, or you can just right click and say copy link address. We're doing the same thing. We're copying the link address. All right. Once you've copied the link address, you can just come to the toolbar and load from the cloud. Notice that it's already in here. All you have to do is just open it and click load. And then you now have a copy of my 15-minute chart. And I've already turned on the trade wave for you, so you can see buys and sells. So what could happen to this MindMed chart? I would hope that buyers would jump in here maybe before I finish the session. Buyers will defend this level and hold it, and we'll see a buy tag. Like it reverses and takes out a new high on the 15-minute, it would turn into a B tag. That's what I'm hoping to see. So again, I can't stress enough, and I'm so glad that we developed this trade wave, because it is the perfect tool for new traders. Again, I know what I want to see. I've seen 50,000 hours of charts, so I just know what I see. But for a new trader, they might not know, ooh, danger, danger. We're basically breaking the moving average and it's starting to weaken. And so it's like a plane falling out of the sky. It loses its lift and it's telling a new trader very early, danger. So you'll start to notice patterns and it takes a while. Again, there's no quick way to learn, but just watching and observing, and then you start to put together patterns. Again, I'm fully expecting maybe 30 minutes from now, we look at this and this thing has bounced off of this level only because it's the 5-day moving average that I find so useful. So Naya, you're very welcome. And Reshna, anybody else who opened this chart, I would suggest once you've got it open, position where you want it, and then file, save layout. And just let it call the default layout. And what that means is the next time you keep closing and opening the product, it's always there waiting for you. I haven't talked too much about my daily, but I'll be happy to share this too. We can see using my Mind Med as an example, the 10 SMA is my most important moving average. I'm going to go back to red. The 10 SMA is my most important moving average. Here we go. And so it tells me when strong stocks are pulling back. This is now a level of interest where the jump rope might hit the street and start to skip back up. The other moving average I have here is called the 20 SMA. And what happens is sometimes if the 10 SMA fails, the 20 SMA, the 20 simple moving average, will act as the support and pick it up. And I call this the backstop. So let me do this one again. It's the same process. I'm going to go ahead and create, I'm going to create the cloud right now. I'm saving this format of my daily chart. Now that's the code to my daily chart. And then again, I'll do it the easy way. I just click the link and let it open the web page so you see it, the web page. And then from here, just highlight the entire URL, the entire code. This is the actual code of the chart or scan or whatever it is we're saving and sharing. And I don't need this anymore. And then to load it, we use our toolbar under the file menu. The very first one is called Load from Cloud. Well, I'll do you one better. I'll share my entire layout with you next. Some things will come over and some won't because some things have like a symbol list that's personal to me. Okay, so once we click load, we click the load button and there you go. You got it. Now, like I just teased you, if I wanted to share my entire layout, I would go to the save function and I would click entire layout. Now, be aware that this is a symbol list here, my sector watch list, and this is a symbol list over here, which is my liked list. It'll be different for you, but I can select my entire layout. Save and share, the same thing as before. It's telling me the symbol list won't share, but that's fine. We just told you that. And that's the entire layout. Put the AI back. Now, as we're speaking here, looks like this is the 15-minute candle that I like to see. You see this little wick? That's telling me that, hey, we overshot that 5-day. Maybe the scans and the alerts are going off on the algorithms and the quants and the funds who are, in this game that are pretty smart. They also realize that down here is the sweet spot. And so that candle, ideally, will continue to just bounce a little bit off that. And as I said earlier, in a perfect world, for the new traders, we get a trade wave signal, hopefully, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes from now that shows that there was a significant bounce here. And that reversal of the bounce could turn into a B tag for a buy. But yeah, that could still take 30 to 45 minutes, actually, the more I look at it. We just want to wait for confirmation. If I just jump in here now, I'd still be kind of guessing. Candle still has 5 minutes to close. I'd want to see what the next candle's doing. But this 15-minute time frame is perfect for me, and it's perfect for anybody else that has distractions or another job like I do, emails, live chats, conversations. But definitely, go to Barry's room, of course, if trading is going to be your main focus, and Barry's going to show you each day where the action is. There's a lot of story stocks that come through, things that are just exploding on volume. Barry's always going to be writing the action, whereas I'm more selective in the things I play. You hear me talking about, silver, fundamental, global, macro, Fort Knox. Barry's not going to be talking about that kind of stuff. So you're going to get a whole diverse group of opinions. I'm going to turn TradeWave off now. But again, I can't stress enough how important I think it is for new traders. Earlier, I was looking at some of these short squeezes. Okay, so giant downtrend reversal in edit. Genome editing. Okay, it's a biotech, but when you have 22% short, if you don't know, if you're a new trader, that means that there's too many people that are short this stock trying to buy it and compete with the other buyers that want to buy it for fundamental reasons, and it winds up moving really fast. The TradeWave signal does not come up in the web version. I just tried to confirm that. So I'll say this. I mean, if you are a Mac user only, one of the best solutions is to look into a virtual desktop where you can run. Just do a Google search. You'll probably come up with Amazon Web Services, Microsoft 365, or Parallels. Exactly. Pepe is correct. These HTML charts, as we call them, are only available in our downloadable version. See, if I turn off this browser interface, now they've kind of turned into what the web is emulating. For reasons that I can't get into, the technology architecture, we can't get it to work the way we'd like. However, we're building out, like I said, we are building out the dashboard, my trade ideas here. This new look. This will be the new look and feel a year from now. Ideally, the goal is to have right click and be able to configure and do all the things that I would do here on the download version should be able to be done here. But again, this is why you guys want to show up tomorrow and pester the CEO and have him give you updates and visions as to where he sees. And if you're curious as to why you can't do something, then he can explain more why the TradeWave charts don't work in the web version. The language that uses the language to speak between the TI Pro and emulate over to the web version just doesn't have the capacity to run those charts. Great. I'm glad you got it. This is why we do this every day. I'll stop everything I'm doing for a full hour. And you can't get this kind of support in the chat. Back when you come into our live chat and say, hey, this isn't working, what do I do? Yeah, we can try and diagnose it. We're probably going to wind up giving you a couple of links back to a documentation. And some people don't like that, but we don't have the bandwidth to just pick up the phone and say hi and click here and click there. But here, when you come here, we have the ability to kind of show you and walk through, and it's easier to understand. Yeah, definitely. You start, watch the get starting videos, and what you'll do is you'll start to create some questions, Naya, and then those questions you come back the next day, and we can answer them for you. That's the perfect way to learn. Just like you said, you want to get a quick start. That's the way to do it. Learn some of the stuff that we've done, the videos, and those will generate questions, and then come here and get live demonstrations, qualifications. All right, let's see. Did that mind med ever bounce off the file? Hey, look at that. It's like magic, isn't it? See, now I'm going to want to turn the trade wave chart to see when the buy tag comes back in. It's not going to be there yet. What we need for the buy tag to come in is we need the color, the color cloud to shrink, and we still have a pretty wide band here. So we're going to need that color cloud to really shrink up and change colors before we get a buy tag. But this was the operative level, hopefully. I don't want to jinx it. Look back here. We had 2 examples of buy tags before. Maybe that wasn't lost on some of you. Maybe some of you already saw that. All right, sounds good, Nye. No problem. That's why we want to do it. If we didn't have this 1 hour of support, I think it would be really, really hard, and people would give up and get a little frustrated, because we do recognize it's a very feature-rich program, and that requires some explanation sometimes. All right, let's see. Okay, quarter till. Actually, I got to leave in 10 minutes because, like I said, I do have a job, and it's the developers meetings that I sit in on. That's how I know half of this stuff. So you've got me for another 10 minutes is basically what I'm saying. I'm going to turn trade wave off again. I think it's still going to be a couple of candles before MindMed hopefully reverses, if it does. How's that silver holding up? So when I pull up this chart, this is what I use. I don't use trade wave. I use again, look at that. Look at the buyers showing up at my strong silver at the 5-day moving average. That's a big level. And the second level is the momentum level. So this is support, but this is momentum. As long as the price stays, and look at that, it's kissed it twice. We got a new candle that just started. So this candle has to hold that level for me to stay confident that we are going to move higher on this time frame. Now, just because it looks like that doesn't mean I'm going to get out. It just tells me it's under pressure at the moment. And what that means is the closing candle is what tells me what I need to know. If this candle turned red and closed way down here below this momentum line, that tells me immediately, well, your momentum just died, Steve. Now what are you going to do? Well, depending upon where my entry is, I might have to look back here and say, well, worst case possible, I'm going to have to lean on this one again. So you guys, I use 2 indicators on my intraday charts. That's it. Keeping it simple keeps it from being overcomplicated and having overanalysis paralysis. Hey, Hutch. Is there a way? I don't think it's so much the monitor as it would be so much like if you're using a new channel bar or a new docked window, it might have its own set of instructions, but let me show you what might work. So I'm going to open a new docked channel bar. And if I've got the go, no go charts going in here, obviously they're only changing these charts in here. So even though it's on the same window, my other charts aren't changing. So you see how these tabs are in pink? That's telling us that if we right click the chart and go to properties and go to symbol linking, there's the key right there. So it's that sub menu on the chart under symbol linking. The color scheme is linked inside that docked window to pink. So if I change that link to all, now ideally, if I change a chart in that window, you see how they all change. So I'm thinking just right click on the chart and under properties and linking, you got that sub menu. This is, I think, the solution to your problems right there. Just change them to link to all. Let's see. Oh, HYMC, my little small cap silver might be starting to, it's starting to creep above. Might look at my two main signals here, just kind of converging, and the price is on the happy side of it. So that's a good start. That's as simple as I make it right there on the intraday stuff. Underneath, it's under pressure. Back above, we got a shot. What's that other? Oh, that FSM is going lower on me. I got into that one too soon. So hopefully we're going to find some support here on this one. Don't care for that. And then MindMed is not, nope, look at that. It's wanting to go lower. Is the market doing okay? Yeah, the market's okay. It's just one of those things. So that's my slow-paced style. I let things kind of ebb and flow. Awesome, Hutch. I figured that would be it. That's a bummer about MindMed. I thought might hold that level. You know, I'll tell you, sometimes it takes at least 2 days of selling. 1 day of selling, that one red candle is really never enough. So that's kind of another understanding that I work with. 1 day of selling just sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes you got, and again, I've only got a quarter size position here. So I'm letting it kind of work against me. Probably not smart, but I still made money on the main part of the trade. All right, I got 3 more minutes before I've got to get up and get ready for another meeting. So if somebody was holding on to a question or a chart before I go, we're at the speak now phase. Oh, there's Hertz rental car bouncing back. 29% short that stock. I'm just picking these off of my short squeeze. Anything in this green tree map has a high short float, meaning if it gets going, it could really get going because the shorts are scared. Ooh, Beyond Meat. Ugh. Gross, but highly shorted. Wow, that's actually a possible play. 50% of the people are short. It might be an overstayed welcome here. I'm going to set an alert on this. This could be the beginning of something. So I'll set the alert on my intraday. I'll kind of eyeball where a pullback would be, and I might be interested. But I'm going to keep an eye on this one. So that's the genesis of my trading. It's on this list. I'm just clicking through, happenstance, having happy little accident. Oh, I forgot about Beyond Meat. And look at it. It's like the IWM when I started this session saying, once something squirts and pops above that 50-day moving average and holds and closes there, it's usually the beginning of something. So I'm not going to lose sight of this Beyond Meat. This is interesting. This blue line also corresponds with the high back here and a high back there. So the pullback could easily come back and test these highs. So I feel like I've given myself a future trade setup. That future trade setup has 51% short. So there could be massive short squeeze. And I might even not even get a pullback. It could already be on the way. That's the reason you're getting such a big move here. All these short sellers might realize I've got to take my profits now or they're going to diminish. All right, guys. That's a lot of talking for me in 1 hour, but I don't mind it. I like doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And I will be back Thursday. So if you liked what you heard today, come back on Thursday. I'll be here again, same time. And thanks for all your questions. So I'm going to sign off now. Good luck out there.